So this video you're going to see right now is about the topics that come up most frequently in Part 2 IELTS speaking. A lot of students ask me, Steve, what are the topics in Part 2 of the IELTS speaking test? The truth is there are lots of different topics. But what we're going to do right now is I'm going to show you some of the basic framework of questions that come up in IELTS Part 2, and you can consider and think about what might be important and what you would talk about for those questions. So the first thing to consider is place. Sometimes in IELTS they're going to ask you about a place. Now that place might be like scenery, like the beach or somewhere you went on holiday, but it could also be about a building or something spectacular. You can talk about whatever you want. Remember, the questions are about you. Follow the questions, but talk about yourself. The questions are designed for you to talk about yourself. So place is one thing you might be asked about. Another thing you might be asked about is people or a person. So you might be asked to talk about someone who was important to you as a child. You might be asked to talk about a person you admire. There's quite a few questions about people. Now you can talk about anyone. Sometimes they're specific and they might ask you to talk about a child or an old person or an important person, but that's common, questions about people. Another common kind of topic is about activities, something that you do. Now that could be a sport activity, like you see the man playing cricket here, or football or rugby or any kind of sport, but it can also be other kinds of activities like reading or drawing or painting or cooking. So they do ask you questions about activities. The other thing they might ask you about is things. So they might ask you just to describe a thing, like something that was special to you as a child, or something you've bought recently that you really like. So it's important to be aware and practice all four of those things now. So we've got a place, a person, activities, and things. And think about the vocab you might use for them. We'll talk about that in another video. Some of the vocab you can use for places is the same as for the other three, and sometimes it's not. So there's another thing you need to consider though, and that is the time frame. So the questions are very specific in Part 2. It's quite easy because they're usually all about one tense, but it's going to be either about the past, and notice we've got the your here, it's your past, or the present and your present, something that's happening right now. And then of course also the future, and it's your future, so they want you to talk about your future. Now you see we have a nice little column here, a nice little tables, columns and rows here. Looks like a bar chart in task 1 writing a little bit. So you need to think about in those boxes. One more thing to think about is the WH questions. Now, if you've had a look at the video about taking notes for Part 2, which you should have seen, if you haven't seen that, make sure you go back and have a look at that. But remember, when you're talking about Part 2, always think of the WH questions. What, where, when, who. The how questions are important too. How often, and how did you feel, or how you felt. And never forget why. Think about those questions, and if they're asking you 4 of them, you could use 1 or 2 of the other ones as well to extend your answer. Now let's give you some examples of what might go in that box. So here we see in that place there, we've got that space there, we've got place and past. A special place you visited as a child. Now, IELTS always use the word describe. So it would be describe a special place you visited as a child. And then, as I've just said, they'll ask you 3 or 4 questions, WH questions. Where was this place? For example, what did you do there? Who did you go there with? And why did you like that place? Now, let's move in and look in the middle here. So present and about a person. So describe a young person you know well. Now you think about the WH questions yourself. We're not going to write down the WH questions here. Also because you can just think about that yourself. It's very good practice that you just try talking for 2 minutes about that topic, even without the WH questions. And then if we were going to talk about the future, we've got an activity here. There's something you would like to make in the future. Now notice that would in the question means future, not now. So it's a new thing you would like to make, not something you've made already. Make sure you're clear and you get your tense correct in writing. And let's just go for one more. It's the thing down the bottom there. So how about something that was important to you as a child? Now again, remember the WH question. So we've got a whole lot of other spaces there that have no questions. So here is your activity, your task. You think about what kinds of questions might fit in those boxes, and you go away and do that later, or do it right now if you like, and talk about it with your friend, with your study partner. If you're working with me directly online, I would like you to make those questions and answer those questions and send them to me. If you're studying with a partner, you choose who's going to write which questions and send your questions to each other.